السلام عليكم. أنا محمد عثمان من جروب 26. النهاردة هنتكلم عن سمارت كارد سكيورتي. في خلال البرزنتيشن هنجاوب عن 4 أسئلة مهمة. أول سؤال What is a smart card؟ تاني حاجة What is a smart card system architecture؟ تالت سؤال How does a smart card operate؟ وفاينالي أهم توبيك عندنا What are the security aspects for smart card؟ نبدأ بأول حاجة which is What is a smart card؟
A smart card is a plastic card with a built-in microprocessor and a microchip. It is used by enterprises to provide verification and authentication by providing what is known as by two-factor authentication. It can be used for various purposes such as data storage and processing, identity authentication, and secure transactions. دلوقتي هنتكلم عن Smart Card Main Applications. أول ابلكيشن معانا هو الالكترونيك بيمنت سيستمز، ودوت أهم أكتر ابلكيشن منتشر للسمارت كارد زي كروت الماستر كارد والفيزا. تاني ابلكيشن هو الايدنتيفيكيشن، إن الناس بتقدر تستعمل السمارت كارد في الايدنتيفيكيشن زي مثلا رخص السواقة والباسبورت كاردز and employee identification cards. تالت حاجة الموبايل تليفوني، ودوت عبارة عن شرائح اللي بتحط في الموبايل و they are used to store data such as content and text messages and to authenticate the user's identity. ورابع حاجة معانا هي الهيلث. السمارت كارد are used in the health industry to store and manage patient record and to authenticate the identity of the healthcare professional. دلوقتي هنتكلم عن الهيستوري في سمارت كارد. الكونسيبت على السمارت كارد ابتدى في ستينات القرن الماضي، وبعد كده ابتدى بقى الايديا كانت عبارة عن ان هو نستخدم مايكرو بروسيسور بيزد كارد for storing and processing data.
دلوقتي هنتكلم عن evolution of smart cards. في نهاية السبعينات وبداية الثمانينات the smart card began to be developed and deployed on a large scale. Smart card market overview. The market of smart cards has grown significantly in the recent years. The global smart card market size is estimated to reach $10.6 billion by 2027. It has a compound annual growth rate of 9.4% during the forecast period of 2022 to 2027. وأكيد في factors driving the smart card market growth. The increasing adoption of smart cards in various sectors such as government. دلوقتي بقى معظم التعاملات الحكومية باستخدام الكروت الذكية، والهيلث كير زي ما اتكلمنا قبل كده، والبانكينج، والترانسبورتيشن. دلوقتي بقى في كروت للمواصلات، هي ممكن لسه مش موجودة في مصر، كان موجودة في معظم الدول برا. السمارت كاردز ليها 3 main categories. أول حاجة contact cards need to be inserted into a reader. تاني حاجة contactless cards can be read wirelessly. تالت حاجة الهايبريد كارد can do both زي كروت البانكينج اللي بقت منتشرة مؤخرا. كده هنتكلم عن المين فيتشرز للسمارت كارد. أول حاجة أهم حاجة هي الهاي levels of security. The smart card uses encryption and other security measures to protect against unauthorized access to the data. تاني حاجة هي الconvenience. A smart card can store a large amount of data and can be used for multiple applications, making them more convenient to the user. وتالت حاجة هي durability. Smart cards are made of plastic and other resistant materials, making them more durable than traditional paper or magnetic strip cards. وفي features مهمة تانية زي larger memory, portability, reliability. دي حاجات مهمة جدا. يعني مثلا smart card system have proven to be more reliable than other machine readable cards like magnetic strips and barcodes. وبرضه في حاجات تانية مهمة زي information security، لازم تكون متأمنة كويس information الموجودة على smart card. privacy اللي easy to use، ان هو اكيد سهل لكل الناس تستعمله، عشان كده هو انتشر مؤخرا. reduce the cost for operators and users. زي ما السمارت كاردز ليها main features مهمة ومفيدة جدا، ليها برضو بعض drawbacks، وأولها وأهمها if the smart card is lost or its data was stolen it leads to serious issues ودي طبعا مشاكل نصب شهيرة جدا متعرض ليها الناس في المجتمع الفترة الأخيرة. و some applications lack of support to the user. Some enterprises charge the user for using their smart card. Some smart cards are electricity dependent. Then you will not be able to use a smart card in the absence of electricity. و some cards are a bit costlier like credit cards. وحلا لمشاكل السمارت كارد زي مثلا مشكلة اللاك اوف سبورت ابتدى يظهر شوية ستاندردز مهمة أو ما يعرف باسم سمارت كارد standardizations. Standards are important for ensuring the compatibility between different smart card systems. Several organizations develop and maintain the standards for smart cards such as ISO International Organization for Standardization. وتاني حاجة هي ال MVCO وهي عبارة عن يورو باي وماستر كارد وفيزا. كده نبقى خلصنا أول جزء اللي هو بيتكلم عن إيه هو السمارت كارد، وهنبدأ في تاني جزء وهو What is the system architecture for a smart card. smart card mainly بيتكون من 4 حاجات. أول حاجة هو المايكرو كنترولر، تاني حاجة الكريبتو مايكرو بروسيسور والميموري والانبوت اوتبوت انترفيسز. نبدأ مع أول حاجة وهي المايكرو كنترولر. مايكرو كنترولر زي ما شايفين كده في الدياجرام اللي تحت دوت هو بيبقى أساس أو عقل المفكر للسمارت كارد. في كذا نوع من أنواع المايكرو كنترولرز. أول حاجة هي ال 8-bit micro controllers. They are the most common type of microcontrollers used in smart card. They are known for their low cost and simple architecture like Atmel AVR and the microchip PIC. وتاني نوع هو ال 32-bit microcontrollers. These microcontrollers have more processing power than the previous ones, and they are used in more advanced smart cards, such as those used to secure identification and payment applications. وده زي ال ARM Cortex-M and the NXP Secure Microcontroller. وتالت نوع هو اسمه Secure Microcontroller. Secure Microcontrollers they are microcontrollers especially designed for security applications. They include built-in security features such as encryption and secure boot capabilities. For example, the Infineon Secure Microcontroller and the ST Micro Electronic Secure Microcontroller. ورابع نوع معانا هو ال Ultra Low Power Microcontrollers. These microcontrollers are designed for the use in smart cards. They need to operate for long periods of time on a small battery. Examples Texas Instrument MSP 430 and the Atmel SAML series. وتاني حاجة معانا هي الكريبتو مايكرو بروسيسور، ودوت بيتكون من كذا جزء. أول حاجة هي السكيور إيليمنت، تاني حاجة هي Trusted Platform Module TPM، والهاردوير سكيورتي موديول HSM، والسمارت كارد IC Integrated Circuit، والسكيور مايكرو كنترولر MCU. دوت الأجزاء الخمسة المكونة للكريبتو مايكرو بروسيسور. بعد كده معانا تالت جزء في الاركتكتور هو الميموري. ميموري تبقى 5 حاجات مختلفة. أول حاجة هي الروم read only memory. This type of memory is used to store the card firmware and other permanent data. The card is stored in ROM cannot be modified or deleted by the user or the card processor. تاني حاجة معانا هي ال EEPROM اللي هي Electrically Erasable Programmable Read Only Memory. This type of memory is similar to ROM, but it allows for some data to be modified by the user or the card processor. It is commonly used for storing configuration data and non-critical information. وتالت حاجة معانا هي الرام. This type of memory is used for temporary storage data. The data stored in RAM can be modified or deleted by the user or the card processor. ورابع حاجة معانا هي المايكرو كنترولر integrated memory، ودي عبارة عن small memory integrated to the microcontroller. It is known as on-chip memory. It is a small amount of memory that is used to store data and code. وآخر حاجة معانا هي secure memory. This type of memory is designed to store sensitive information such as the encryption keys, and it is
typically protected by security features such as hardware encryption and secure boot. واخر حاجه معانا في الاركتكتور هي الانبوت اوتبوت انترفيسز. اول حاجه هي الكونتاكت انترفيس. This type of input output is used for communication between the smart card and the reader device through physical contact. The smart cards has several metal connectors called contact pads that makes contact with the corresponding connectors in the reader. This type of input output is commonly used for payment and identification application. تاني حاجة معانا هي contactless input output. This type of input output is used for communication between the smart card and a reader device without the need of physical contact. The smart card uses a wireless technology such as NFC or RFID. This type of I/O is commonly used for transportation and access control applications. تالت حاجة معانا هي serial input. This type of input output is used for communication between the smart card and the reader device through a serial interface such as USB. This type is commonly used for debugging and programming smart card. ورابع حاجة معانا هي display. Some smart cards have a built-in display that can be used to display information to the user. وآخر حاجة خامس حاجة هي الكيباد. Some smart cards have a built-in keypad that can be used for inputting information. ومعانا audio input output. Some smart cards have a built-in speaker that can be used to play audio files or a microphone to record an audio. وfinally معانا آخر حاجة biometric input output. Some smart cards have built-in biometric sensors such as fingerprint scanners that can be used for user authentication. كده يبقى خلصنا الاركتكتور، ويبقى معانا آخر جزء أو الجزء اللي قبل الأخير اللي هو how does a smart card operate. A smart card operates by using operating system that use a microcontroller to process and manage data. Microcontroller communicated with the outside world use the input-output operation زي ما قلنا قبل كده. We use a memory such as ROM or EEPROM or RAM to store the data. When a smart card is inserted into a reader, the reader sends a command to the smart card microcontroller. The microcontroller processes the command and sends response. This type of command and the data of sent will depend on the application of the smart card is being used for. For example, if the smart card is being used for payment, the command will be to authorize a transaction, and the data sent may include the amount of transaction and the cardholder account information. وده كان عندنا مثال. بعد كده نبدأ نتكلم عن الاوبريتنج سيستم للسمارت كارد. في كذا نوع من انواع الاوبريتنج سيستمز للسمارت كارد. اول حاجه معانا هي جافا كارد. Java Card was developed by Sun Microsystems, now Oracle. Java Card is an open standard for Smart Card OS. It allows developers to write applets in Java and run them on the smart card. تاني حاجة معانا هو المالت OS. Malt OS is designed for high security applications. تالت حاجة هي Global Platform. Global Platform is a non-profit industry association that has developed a set of specifications for smart card OS management, such as the life cycle management, security, and remote management of the smart card applications. رابع حاجة هو Windows for smart cards. Windows for smart cards is a version of Windows OS that has been adapted for the use on smart cards. It is designed to support the smart card development. آخر حاجة معانا هو VxWorks. VxWorks is a real-time operating system that is commonly used for embedded systems and smart cards. آخر حاجة هنتكلم عن جزء اسمه Integrated Circuit Card Identifier. The smart card also has a unique identification number called the Integrated Circuit Card Identifier, or ICCID. that is stored in the memory. This number is used to identify the card and its owner. When a smart card is inserted into a reader, the ICCID is sent to the reader along with the other information as the cardholder's account name and information. The reader uses the ICCID to verify that the card is valid and to identify the cardholder. It is also used to track and manage the card. For example, when a card is lost or stolen, the ICCID can be used to deactivate the card and prevent it from being used for unauthorized transactions. The ICCID can be used to track the storage of the card, the usage of the card, such as the transactions made and to monitor for suspicious activities. This information can be used for fraud detection and to improve the security of a smart card system. كده نبقى خلصنا الجزء التالت وهنبدأ دلوقتي في آخر جزء معانا وأهم جزء هو what are the security aspects for a smart card. أول حاجة معانا هي physical security. This refers to the protection of a smart card itself from tampering or physical damage. This can be achieved through the use of tamper-resistant materials such as epoxy or plastic. تاني حاجة data security. Data security refers to the protection of the data stored on the smart card from unauthorized access or modification. This can be achieved through the use of encryption, access control mechanisms, and secure data storage techniques. تالت حاجة معانا هي network security. Network security refers to the protection of the smart card communications with external devices and the system from interception or tampering. This can be achieved through the use of secure protocols such as SSL or TLS. ورابع حاجة هي application security. Application security refers to the protection of the application and services that run on the smart card from unauthorized access or misuse. This can be achieved through the use of secure programming practices and access control mechanisms. وآخر حاجة هي user authentication. User authentication refers to the process of verifying the identity of the user of the smart card. This can be achieved through the use of password, biometric authentication or other forms. ونبدأ بأول حاجة معانا وهي physical security. Physical security of a smart card refers to the measures taken to protect the smart card from physical tampering or damage. Those measures include كذا حاجة. أول حاجة هي tamper resistant packaging. تاني حاجة durable construction. تالت حاجة physical protection of the smart card reader physical protection of the smart card's communication. وآخر حاجة هي secure element. نبدأ معانا بأول حاجة tamper resistant packaging. Smart cards are often made from materials that are difficult to open or manipulate without damaging the card to prevent tampering or physical damage. وفي كذا نوع من أنواع الماتيريالز اللي ممكن نستعملها في صناعة السمارت كاردز. أول حاجة هي الإيبوكسي، تاني حاجة البلاستيك، تالت حاجة الميتالز. Smart cards used for access control and secure facility may be encased in an epoxy material, while the smart cards used for financial transaction may be encased in plastic or metal material.
وتاني حاجة معانا هي durable construction. Smart cards may be designed with durability in mind to resist physical damage. This may include some features. أول حاجة من features هي reinforced corners or edges. Some smart cards may be designed with reinforced corners or edges to make them more resistant to physical damage, such as scratches or cracks. تاني حاجة ruggedized design. Some smart cards may be designed with a ruggedized design, which is intended to withstand harsh conditions or accidental damage. يعني معمولة من خامات متينة وديزاين متين بحيث إن هو يستحمل كل الظروف. تالت حاجة هي durable materials. Some smart cards may be made from durable materials such as plastic or metal that are resistant to physical damage and wear and tear. تالت حاجة معانا هي physical protection for smart card reader. refers to the measures taken to secure the physical device itself from unauthorized access or tampering. These measures are intended to prevent unauthorized access to the card's data or to the smart card reader's internal components. Some examples for readers protection measures: tamper evidence seals. Tamper evidence seals and covers to detect and prevent unauthorized access to the internal components of a reader. تاني حاجة the use of secure enclosure or housing to secure the reader and prevent it from being tampered or removed. Use locks on cables or other physical security measures to prevent the unauthorized removal of the reader from its location. Use security cameras or monitoring devices to detect and record any unauthorized access or tampering attempts. Use security protocols or access control to limit the number of unauthorized personnel who have access to the smart card reader. ورابع حاجة معانا physical protection for the smart card communication. It refers to the measure taken to secure the physical link between the smart card and the reader or the other device that is communicating with. These measures are intended to prevent the unauthorized access of card data, which could be used to extract sensitive information or interfere with the normal operation. كانت بقى آخر حاجة في physical protection وهي secure element. Secure element is a chip that is by design protected from unauthorized access and used to run a limited set of applications as well as storing confidential and cryptographic data. The secure element has various uses in various areas. أول حاجة من uses بتاعته في authentication. Access to online service can be protected not only by the username and password, but by strong authentication based on the credentials that are stored and processed inside the chip. Secure element authentication can be applied for logging into critical services such as VPN and corporate emails. تاني حاجة digital signature. Digital signature secure element can store keys to digitally signing documents or other data, as well as generate a signature. What's more, the key is not sent anywhere. It cannot be intercepted by malicious programs. تالت حاجة وهي contactless payment، واحنا اتكلمنا في الحوار ده قبل كده. و cryptocurrency wallets using a so-called cold wallet based on a specialized devices with a secure element chip is the most reliable way to store public and private cryptographic keys. Finally, biometric data storage. Biometric data storage secure element is also used in biometric passports. The secure chip ensures the safe storage of sensitive data. كده بخلصنا أول جزء وهو physical security. هنبدأ في تاني جزء اللي هو data security. Data security for a smart card refers to the type of security that is applied to the smart card to protect the data stored on the card from unauthorized access or modification. These measures include أول حاجة encryption، تاني حاجة access control mechanisms، تالت حاجة secure data storage. نبدأ بأول حاجة encryption. Data stored on a smart card may be encrypted using a strong encryption algorithm such as AES or RSA to prevent unauthorized access of the data. ودولت تم شرحهم في المادة الكمبيوتر and network security الترم دوت. Encrypting data files makes it difficult for an attackers to read or modify the data without the proper decryption key. Encryption techniques that are used on a smart card. في 4 techniques ممكن نستعملهم على smart card. أول حاجة هو symmetric key encryption والasymmetric key encryption والhash functions والelliptic curve cryptography. نبدأ مع أول حاجة وهي symmetric key encryption. Symmetric key encryption uses the same key for both encrypt and decrypt the data. This can make it faster and more efficient than other types of encryption, but it also requires that the key is kept secret or secure. The Advanced Encryption Standard AES is a widely used symmetric key encryption algorithm known for its security and efficiency. To use the AES for data encryption on a smart card, a secret key is generated and used to encrypt and decrypt the data. طول الكي لل AES can be 128 or 192 or 265 bits. Given an example, a smart card is used to store a sensitive financial data and needs to be encrypted to protect the confidentiality of the data. The smart card may use the AES algorithm with a 56-bit key to encrypt the data. To decrypt the data we use the same key. ده تاني حاجة وهي ال asymmetric key encryption. Asymmetric key encryption uses a pair of keys, a public key and a private key to encrypt and decrypt the data. The public key is used to encrypt the data and shared with others. The private key is used to decrypt it and kept secret and secure. The RSA is a widely used algorithm that is based on the difficulty of factoring large composite numbers. To use RSA for data encryption on a smart card, a pair of keys, a public key and a private key is generated. The key length can vary, but common key lengths for RSA include 512 bits, 1024 bits, 2048 bits. For an example, suppose a smart card is used to store sensitive medical records and need to be encrypted to protect the confidentiality of the data. The smart card may use the RSA algorithm with a 2048-bit key to encrypt the data. The public key can be shared with healthcare providers and who needs to access the data of the smart card. The private key must be kept as secret and secure. Number 3, hash functions. Hash functions are a type of encryption techniques used to create a fixed length output, called a hash, from a variable length input. Hash functions are typically used to verify the integrity of data, as any changes to the input will result in a different hashing being produced. We can use the SHA secure hash algorithm family of algorithms hash functions in smart card data security. The SHA hash algorithms family includes SHA1, SHA2, SHA3, which are designed to be secure and efficient. To use a hash function on a smart card, the input data is passed through the hash function to produce hash output. The hash then can be stored on the smart card or used to verify the integrity of data. Suppose a smart card is used to store sensitive financial data and needs to ensure the integrity of data. The smart card may use the SHA3 algorithm to generate a hash of the data. To verify the integrity of the data, the input data is passed through the SHA3 algorithm again. The resulting hash is compared to the stored hash. If the hash is matched, it indicates that the data has not been modified and is considered to be intact. Any unauthorized modification to the data will result in a different hash being produced. وآخر حاجة elliptic curve cryptography. Elliptic curve cryptography is a type of asymmetric key encryption that is based on the algebraic structure of elliptic curves. It is known for its ability to provide strong secure with relatively short keys, making it suitable for use on smart cards. ECC can be used for smart card data security in the protection of personal identification numbers PIN stored on the smart key. The smart key will generate a public key and private key pair using an elliptic curve algorithm. The private key is stored on the card and it is used to decrypt the PIN when it is entered by the user. Let the elliptic curve y square equal x cubed plus 7 modulo 23. Generator point will be 3 and 10. Private key kept a secret on smart card with D equals 7. The public key was shared with the verification system Q equal DJ equals 3 and 10. When the user enters their PIN, let's say it is 1234. It is encrypted using the public key by applying a one-way function. Let's say it become ciphertext 922. The encrypted PIN is sent to the smart card for verification. The smart card when uses its private key to decrypt the PIN by applying the inverse of the one-way function, it obtains the original value 1234. Then it is compared to the stored value. If the value matches, the user is authenticated and granted access to the card stored data. وتاني حاجة في topic الداتا security هي ال access control mechanisms. Smart card have access control mechanisms in place to prevent unauthorized users from accessing certain data or functions. This can include the use of passwords, biometric authentication, or other forms of identification. Some access control mechanisms used on the smart cards. أول حاجة password based access. Password based access control involves the use of a password and paraphrase to grant or deny the access to the data on the smart card. The password may be entered manually, or it may be stored on a smart card or an external device and used to access the data when needed. تاني حاجة biometric authentication. Biometric authentication involves the use of physical or behavioral characteristics such as fingerprint or voice print to grant or deny the access to the data of the smart card. Biometric authentication may be performed by the smart card itself, or it may be performed by an external device or system that is able to read the biometric data from the smart card. Number 3, token-based access control. Token-based access control involves the use of a physical token, such as a smart card or a key fob, to grant or deny the access to the data on the smart card. The token may be authenticated by the smart card itself, or it may be authenticated by an external device or system that is able to read the data from the token. Finally, آخر حاجة role-based access control. Role-based access control involves the use of users' roles or permissions to grant or deny the access to the data on a smart card. Users may be assigned different roles or permissions based on their position and responsibilities. These roles or permissions may be used to determine which data they are able to access. ودلوقتي بقى معانا آخر حاجة في topic data security وهو secure data storage. Smart cards use secure data storage techniques to prevent data from being modified or deleted by unauthorized users. This includes the use of checksums or other forms of data integrity checks, as well as the use of secure boot mechanisms to prevent unauthorized software from running on the card. ودلوقتي معانا شوية examples and data storage techniques that used in a smart card. أول حاجة الانكريبشن واتكلمنا عنه لسه من شوية. وداتا digital signature آسف. Digital signatures are techniques that involve the use of cryptographic keys to create a unique signature that can be used to verify the authenticity and integrity of the message or document. Data signatures can be used to protect the data stored on a smart card from unauthorized modification or tampering. تالت حاجة هي secure file system. Secure file systems are a type of data storage techniques that is designed to protect the data stored on a smart card from unauthorized access or modification. Secure file system use encryption, digital signature, or other security measures to protect the data stored on the smart card. وfinally, secure element. We have discussed it before. وبكده نكون خلصنا topic data security. دلوقتي نبدأ في ثالث aspect من security وهو network security. Network security for a smart card refers to the measures taken to protect the card's communication with external devices and systems from interception or tampering. These measures include أول حاجة secure protocols, firewalls, network isolation. هنبدأ بأول حاجة secure protocols. Secure protocols. Smart cards may use secure protocols such as SSL or TLS to establish a secure connection with the external devices and systems. These protocols use encryption to protect the communication channels from being intercepted or tampered. There are several different protocols that are commonly used with a smart card, such as secure socket layers, SSL protocol, transport layer security, TLS protocol, internet protocol security protocol, IPsec, secure shell protocol, SSH. أول حاجة ده secure socket layer. It is widely used protocol for establishing secure communication channels over the internet. SSL uses a combination of public key and symmetric key encryption to secure data transmission between two devices. In SSL, a server and a client exchange public key. Then the client uses the server's public key to encrypt a message that is sent to the receiver. The receiver then can use its private key to decrypt the messages. Transport layer security protocol. It is an updated version of SSL that includes additional security features. TLS uses similar encryption techniques as SSL, but it also includes additional mechanism for authenticating the identity of the server and the client. Also, additional mechanisms for detecting and handling tampering or interception of the data during the transmission. C. Internet Protocol Security Protocol. It provides security for Internet Protocol IP communication by authenticating and encrypting each IP packet of a communication session. IPsec can be used to secure smart card communication by creating a secure connection between the smart card and a remote server or network. IPsec is useful in several security steps such as authenticating, encryption, tunneling, support of various authentication methods. D. Secure Shell Protocol. The Secure Shell Protocol SSH protocol is a security network protocol used to remotely access and manage network devices. It can also be used to secure smart card communication. SSH can be used to forward network traffic securely from the smart card to the remote server or network, which is known as port forwarding. نبدأ في تاني حاجة وهي firewalls. Firewalls. It is a security system that controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules in context of smart cards and security and network security. Firewalls can be used to protect against unauthorized access to a network or to prevent malicious traffic from entering or leaving the network. There are several different types of of firewalls that can be used with a smart card. أول حاجة hardware firewalls are physical devices that are installed between the network and the internet, and they can be configured to block or allow traffic based on specific rules. Number 2, software firewalls. They are programs that are installed on a device and can be used to control incoming and outgoing traffic on a device. Hybrid firewalls, which are a combination of hardware and software firewalls. They can be used to provide extra layer of protection for a network. There are multiple fields of firewalls with smart card network security. Number 1, user authentication. A smart card can be used to authenticate a user's identity when accessing the network. The firewall can be configured to allow traffic from the smart card to pass through while blocking other incoming traffic calls. Number 2, data encryption. The firewall can be used to encrypt data such as SSL or TLS to secure the data transmission between the smart card and the network. This can help protect against interceptions or tampering of data during the transmission. Number 3, network access control. The firewall can be configured with security rules that allow or block specific types of traffic based on the traffic type and the source or the destination of the traffic. For example, the firewall might be configured to allow traffic from a specific smart card to access certain resources on the network while blocking access to the other resources. Number 4, intrusion detection or prevention. The firewall can be configured to monitor incoming and outgoing traffic of suspicious activities such as attempted attacks or unauthorized access to the network. If the firewall detects suspicious activity, it can take actions to prevent that activity from occurring, such as blocking the traffic or alerting the network administration. Number 5, VPNs or virtual private networks. The firewalls can be used to create a VPN connection between a smart card and the network, which can help secure communication between two devices. VPNs use encryption techniques to protect the data transmission, and they can be used to create a secure private connection over a public network such as internet. Number 3, network isolation. Network isolation is a security technique that is used to separate different networks or devices from one another in order to protect against unauthorized accesses or communication between them. In context of smart cards and network security, network isolation can be used to protect a smart card from being accessed or compromised by an authored device or network. There are several ways that the network isolation can be implemented. Number 1, firewalls, virtual private networks, network segmentation, which is involved dividing a network into smaller isolated segments, each with its own set of security. A smart card can be placed in a separate network segment, which can help prevent unauthorized access or communication with other devices. وبكده نكون خلصنا رابع حاجة وهي network security، وهنبدأ في application security. Application security. The application security for smart cards refers to the measures taken to protect the application and the services that run on the card from unauthorized access or misuse. These measures include أول حاجة secure programming practices, access control mechanisms, application isolation. نبدأ بأول حاجة وهي secure programming practices. They are set of the best practices that developers can follow to help ensure the security of the software application. These practices can help to prevent vulnerabilities and weaknesses from being introduced into the application. This can help to protect against attacks or exploitations of the vulnerabilities. دلوقتي هنقول شوية أمثلة على ال secure programming practices اللي ممكن تتعمل في ال security of the smart card application. Input validation. Input validation involves the checking of user-provided input for validity before processing it. It can help to prevent attacks that involve injection malicious code or data into the application, such as SQL injection attacks. Error handling and logging. Proper error handling and logging can help to identify and troubleshoot problems with an application, and it can also help to prevent sensitive data from being exposed. Access control. Access control involves limiting the access to the resources or functions within an application to authorized users or devices. This can help to prevent unauthorized access or manipulation of the data or functions. Encryption. Data encryption can help protect it from being accessed or compromised by other parties. Finally, secure coding practices. There are several secure coding practices that developer can follow to help ensure the security of an application. such as avoiding the use of hard-coded passwords, using secure code libraries and frameworks, and avoid the use of unsecure functions or APIs. كده نبدأ في تاني حاجة وهي ال Access Control Mechanisms. Access control mechanisms are used to regulate and to control access to the resources or functions within an application, in order to assure that only authorized users or devices can access them. In this context, access control mechanism can be used to protect against unauthorized access or manipulation of data or functionalities. There are several types of data access control. هنقول دلوقتي شوية منها زي Rule Based Access Control RPAC, in which users are assigned to specific rules. Each rule is granted a specific set of permissions or access rights. This can help to ensure that the users only have access to the resources or functions that they are authorized to access. Number 2, Role-Based Access Control. It involves specifying a set of rules or conditions that must be met in order for a user or a device to be granted the access to resource or function. For example, a rule might specify that the user must be authenticated using a specific smart card in order to access a particular resource. تالت حاجة discretionary access control. In DAC, users are given ability to specify which other users or devices should have access to their resources and function or not. This can be useful in cases where users need to share resources or collaborate on projects. وآخر حاجة mandatory access control MAC. Access to resources or functions is restrictedly controlled by a central authority. Access decisions are based on the classification of the resources or functions and the clearance level of the user or device. This is often used in military and government settings where sensitive data need to be protected. تالت حاجة هي application isolation. Smart cards use application isolation techniques to prevent one application or service from accessing or affecting the data or functionality of others. This can help prevent compromise of one application from affecting the security of other applications on the card. There are different ways that the application isolation can be implemented, including virtual machines. A virtual machine is a software-based environment that acts as a separated, isolated operating system running on the top of a host operating system. Each virtual machine is completely independent of the host operating system and other virtual machines, and it can be used to run a separate application or a process. This can help to prevent the application process from interacting or accessing resources from other applications. تاني حاجة containers. Containers is a lightweight standalone executable package of software that includes everything needed to run an application or a process. تالت حاجة هي sandboxing. Sandboxes involves running an application or process in a restricted environment where it is isolated from the rest of the system and has limited access of resources. This can help to prevent the application or process from interacting or accessing other resources. كده نبقى خلصنا ال application security. ودلوقتي نبدأ في آخر topic هو user authentication. User authentication for smart cards refer to the measures taken to verify the identity of a smart card user. This can be achieved by using some metrics such as password-based authentication, biometric authentication, two-factor authentication. نبدأ بأول حاجة password-based authentication. Passwords are commonly used as a means of authentication for a smart card in order to verify the identity of a user before granting access to a network or an application. In context, a user is typically required to enter a password in order to unlock the smart card and use it to access the network or application. There are ways to improve password-based authentication, such as using a strong password. Using a strong password can help to improve the security password-based authentication. A strong password is difficult for an attacker to guess or crack, and it is typically included a combination of upper and lower cases, numbers, and specific characters. تاني حاجة single factor authentication. In single factor authentication, a user is required to provide a single piece of evidence such as a password to prove their identity. This can be effective in preventing unauthorized access, but it can also be vulnerable to attacks such as directionally or brute force attacks. تاني حاجة biometric authentication. Smart cards may use biometric authentication methods such as fingerprints, facial recognition, and iris scan to verify their user identity. These methods can be more secure than passwords, as they are based on unique physical characteristics of user that are difficult to replicate or forge. Examples of techniques that is used to implement biometric authentication for smart cards: fingerprint recognition, facial recognition, voice recognition, iris or retina recognition. يوصل لتالت حاجة و two-factor authentication. Smart cards may use two-factor authentication, which requires the user to provide two forms of identification in order to gain access. This includes a password or a biometric authentication method, or a password and a one-time send code OTP to a separate device. ودوت اللي معظم الوقت مستعمل دلوقتي في استخدام فيز الشراء على الإنترنت. This is how two-factor authentication might be implemented using a smart card. User attempt to access the network or an application. The user is prompted to enter a password. The user is also prompted to present their smart card for authentication. The system checks the password and smart card to verify the user's identity. If both password and the smart card are valid, the user is granted access to the network. وبكده نكون خلصنا آخر جزء معانا هو user authentication، ونكون خلصنا البرزنتيشن بتاعتنا. أتمنى أن أكون كنت كويس في البرزنتيشن، وشكرا جدا لوقتكم. Thank you.